Welcome. What's up? Welcome to the Mixer. I'm your host, RC. I'm joined, as always, by my friend here. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. How about you?
I am experiencing mixed emotions.
Oh, yeah? What's going on?
We got to get into this week's tilts right away. So
Go for it.
I was having a pretty good week, you know? I mean, my first tilt this week was election betting, live election betting. That was wild. I did not have money on the election, but then, this was a very. I mean, I feel like this was it really put to test the hashtag trust the process team, and with pre-election polling, the way election night unfolded, obviously, President Trump was looking pretty solid. However, in the polls leading up, he was not looking so solid, and we saw the live bets switch from a heavy Biden win favorite to a heavy Trump win favorite. And I am, hashtag team trust the process and hashtag team. Well, I am hashtag team grinding the tape, but also data. I'm hashtag team trust the data. I'm on all teams basically. But anyway, so I saw an opportunity. I laid down some shekels, and then the odds got even better. Well, better if you were thinking Biden was going to win, and so I doubled down, and it appears those bets are going to pay off. I've yet to get paid out on those bets, but I like where I'm at right now.
Yeah, nice.
So live betting, whew, man, that is maybe I'm not gonna bet elections again, because that was a tilt. That was a major tilt. Anywho, so I mean, that went well for the most part. It may have caused 3-4 days of stress shits, but nothing I'm unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
However, I just got off the phone. This is a follow-up on last week's tilt, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. You remember my incident, my garage incident, right?
Oh, yeah.
So my lovely, lovely apartment property company asked for a list of the items damaged, and so we provided them with said list, and they were like, said list is too long, so you need to file an insurance claim. Keep in mind, this happened on October 20th.
Right. So a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and so remember, I believe my exact line was that it was some sort of sink drain.
Yeah.
With so my baby items recovered in jizz and COVID and washed off hand poop particles. Well, apparently, when the insurance company called our property manager, landlord, to confirm the incident, it turns out it was a sewage pipe.
Nice.
No, not nice. Not
That's
nice at
solid.
all. So
Well,
yeah,
obviously, but
and like the water, I mean, I looked at it and the water was black and like brown, and then they said it was just like the drain, and that's just from the piping, and it was a copper pipe. So I was like, or it looked copper. I'm not a metal expert by any means, but yeah. So so yeah, it was sewage all over my daughter's stuff, and like me and my wife, because they didn't even provide us with cleaning materials, we ended up having to do it ourselves, and luckily we used gloves. Me kind of just taking them at their word. If it weren't for her, like, I would have just I mean, I still would have used gloves, but I don't know. It wouldn't have been as big of a deal to me. I would have just like wiped this stuff down and been like, all right, whatever. You
right.
know, it's I don't want to use this stuff for my daughter, but I'm not too concerned about whatever is on there.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's shit. It's legitimately shit.
There you go. That's rough.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So anyway, so now we got to deal with the insurance claim, coming up with the list, getting reimbursed. It's a freaking disaster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my experience with insurance is as long as there's like a valid claim, like they tend to be pretty easy to deal with, although not quick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's more the inconvenience at this time because now like I have to go through it all, throw it all out. It's just we've already put, a few hours into this because of a mistake that my property company did. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, the
anyway,
thing that sucks that you lose time, but I imagine you'll get most, if not all, of what you listed back.
yeah. But I mean that's it. That's already assembled, the man hours, and then plus they're probably gonna factor in depreciation to the cost of it. And like I said, some of that, like, has the sentimental value. It's the car seat that my daughter came home from the hospital in. And
Right.
anyway, it's, I mean, thanks for the content. Shitty stuff that keeps happening, simulation, but
I do have one last
lame.
question about this incident.
What's up?
Was it Porch Rabbit's apartment that had this sewage leak?
No, Port Rapids on the first floor. So it was Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is on the first floor. Um and yeah, so no it wasn't. I have not seen these neighbors, and apparently they had to replace the whole pipe, they said, which they also did not disclose until after the fact. So
Right.
they had to be in there for God.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
Disaster.
like it sounds like a mess all the way around.
Literally. Literally. What about you, man? You got any tells? This is the shitty stuff
Um,
just happening to me.
no, I mean nothing shitty. I got I have the getting older tilt. It's not really a tilt. I'm used to it at this point because I know I don't
Jefferson's
take the
time.
best. Yeah, I know I don't take the best care of my body all the time. But woke up, played a little basketball, and then woke up today pretty sore. The legs feel good now, but they were just tired.
You're like
That's one
Jarek
of those
McKinnon
things.
with tired legs.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those things that 6, 7, 8 years ago wasn't even possible, right? Like
Uh-huh.
not getting tired at all. But now it happens. And then the other one I have is I got into, well, not just me, but my sister and my wife, and then me got into a little Facebook argument on a post that my mom put up yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's just my mom's a conservative, and it wasn't with my mom; it was with one of her friends.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
yeah, they started spouting off about Biden and about different things. And my sister's very much a liberal,
Mm.
and she started mentioning some things, and they were talking about uh, the woman who said who accused Biden of sexual assault or rape or
Uh-huh.
whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And then, my mom's friend was like, "Well, Trump's never been accused of rape, blah 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 blah." And just a quick Google search finds out that that's not true. That he's actually in court currently about a
Yeah.
rape case.
Oh dear.
And so I responded with probably a little too much. I wasn't like mean, but
Yeah.
you know, I took a screenshot of something she said. She also said earlier, like, she basically implied that Trump getting sexual assault charges filed against him was okay because he was a billionaire playboy.
Hmm.
And so I screenshotted that
He's
and I
just
said,
he's just doing it for the brand. I mean, we of all
right.
people can understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And, so I had an issue with that because that kind of thinking leads to things like Brock Turner. If you remember him, the Stanford kid who raped a girl
Mm-hmm.
and was only given 6 months in jail because he has a bright future, right?
Yeah.
And further along the lines to the further extreme, that type of thinking leads to people like Jeffrey Epstein being possible, right? Who was
Yeah.
a billionaire playboy or an extremely wealthy playboy who people didn't question because of his money, right?
Yeah.
So like I went there, and then she made some other comments that I brought, and I tried to keep it all factual, so I tried not to get too opinionated, but I just wanted her to see that she was wrong. And I think the mission was accomplished, as she did not respond to me after that. She completely ignored it. So I hope she realized she was in the wrong there. But yeah, that was tilting me a little bit last night.
I hear you, man. The political state of the world, yeah, definitely divides some families. It's a challenge navigating those waters. I try to stay out of them as much as possible, but
Yeah, I
the
enjoy
closer
the
they're getting to home, the tougher it is to not have it
yeah,
impact in some way.
I agree with you. And I enjoy the talks, the discourse and everything. I don't necessarily enjoy when people get, personal. They start,
Mhm.
throwing insults around, which happens, but um and one thing we've touched on before a little bit is our, like, conspiracy theories, and I'm a huge fan of conspiracy theories as a whole. And so I'm here for any election conspiracy theory you want to, present, but at least present something with some factual basis.
Mhm.
What's going on currently is not. And then also too, like, the thing that's annoying with what's going on currently is, I don't know if you've looked at any of these lawsuits that, like, Trump and his legal team have presented in some of these states, but like his last lawsuit that he tried to bring up in Pennsylvania that got thrown out was over 600 votes. 600 votes, even if those votes got removed or flipped or whatever he wanted to do with them, he's still down like 50,000 votes in Pennsylvania.
Right.
You know, so it to me, what seems to be happening is he just doesn't want to admit defeat at this point,
Uh-huh.
and he's keeping his base engaged. Um, and I think he's honestly trying to get money out of them, and that's why he's doing it. And it's really frustrating watching family members go through that.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, it is frustrating. Unfortunately, that is the climate we find ourselves in. That's why we are team capital J journalists. Integrity, follow good reporters. If you get your news from Facebook, you're probably doing it wrong. But yeah, 2020 trying times. Hopefully everybody can keep their families together and civil for the socially distant Thanksgiving that's coming in the future. By the way, got to bring it back on the behalf of those here at the mixer. Jeff and I, we want to be among the very first to welcome you or to wish you a very very happy Thanksgiving. A little Berman reference there. Let's talk some sports, shall we?
Let's go for it.
So, NFL week 9, very odd week. COVID is hitting hard right off the bat here. I noticed players for the first time wearing masks on the sideline. Hadn't seen that before. I first noticed it in the Clemson. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. It was the Thursday night game between the Packers and Niners. Watching it, and Aaron Rodgers had on a mask on the sideline. Now, the Packers.
Yeah.
Well, this game was very impacted by COVID. Almost a week ago now, but the Niners were missing multiple players. I believe the Packers were. They were talking about moving it. Ultimately, they played the game, and the Niners got beat down. The Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers stack on my main team was cooking. But seeing players with masks on the sidelines, that surprised you, Jeff? Did you catch that as well? Did it stand out to you
Yeah,
or
it actually didn't stand out to me until Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it in a few games, and I mean, it may not be new, but it was the first time I really noticed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense. The league just reprimanded the Raiders pretty harshly over their conduct regarding masks and stuff like that. We've seen multiple games, multiple teams affected by, positive COVID tests. So it does make sense to me that the league and teams would want to do whatever they could to prevent the spread of this virus. And so if that means wearing masks on the sidelines for players, even if they're playing in the game, right, then it kind of doesn't surprise me, especially after the last couple of weeks where we haven't really seen a game get moved for it in a while, but we've seen multiple teams affected every week now.
It's
And
yeah,
yeah, it's just becoming out of control almost.
it seems like the league is getting more proactive. They're talking about camera monitoring. I don't know what goes into that, if they have extra cams up or if they somebody designated to check, or I'm curious if they have um the wristbands or something. I know the NBA had some sort of wristband that you had to wear that basically tracked your locations.
I'm
They
pretty
haven't.
sure the NFL does too.
Okay, maybe it's my bad for not doing the research and looking for those capital J journalist articles about insights on the NFL's COVID mitigation strategy. But it happened with Matthew Stafford where he was a quote unquote close contact. It's happened with other players too, where they come in contact with somebody who tests positive and then they isolate them for a few days and they have to do regular testing. The
I mean,
NFL
this,
by no means has been perfect or a model for how to do um, how to handle the virus. However, it seems like they're getting better at it, and although undoubtedly the virus is going to continue to spread and maybe continue to increase in its prevalence in the community and the NFL, I am somewhat optimistic that the season will not suffer any extensive cancellations or postponements like I may have initially thought it would, when the NFL's plan just seemed to be, guys, wear your masks outside and just virtual bubble, and it's on the trust system. It seems like they're putting more safeguards in place. So we will have to see this week if there are any further tests that come back positive. I mean, it seems like it's always midweek when they start coming back. So I haven't heard
yeah.
anything today, but we will
Well,
see.
the Steelers put a few players on the COVID list today.
Oh, did they? Lovely.
Or maybe that was yesterday. None of them tested positive, but they were all in close contact with someone. I know Roethlisberger's in that group. Jalen Samuels was another name that stuck out to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the Browns, they had a bye week, but Baker got put on that list.
I saw that.
So it seems to pretty much be affecting every team at this point.
Yeah. May your players be safe on your fantasy teams and your home teams. Speaking of home teams, let's just get out of this out of the way. The Chargers choked again. Man, I don't really care that much if they win or lose. I would probably prefer that they lose out than flame out in the playoffs, best case scenario. But god damn, when they lose the way they lose, it still hurts, and I don't know what to do about it. They had 2 tries in the end zone. Mike Williams looked like he caught one of them, and then it gets broken up and he gets hurt, of course. And then the next play, they throw to, like, what is it, their third tight end? I can't even Parham.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I seriously do not know what constitutes a catch because he had the ball. His knee was down in the end zone, but going to the ground, the ball then came out and it hit the ground. So, it's that Calvin Johnson rule, and then there
Yeah,
was
and I bet you're probably even more frustrated with that if you've seen the Marcus Peters interception in
that's what
the
I was gonna
Baltimore
say.
Indianapolis game.
Yeah, such a fucking joke, man. I mean, I guess I get that it's tough, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, who cares? Who cares? The Chargers aren't going anywhere this season, but
I
losing
mean,
another heartbreaker to the
the
Raiders
Chargers
sucks.
are tanking properly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah,
playing great, your quarterback's playing great, and then you just lose games,
yeah.
right? So you build a little confidence and then lose the game real quick.
Unlike the Patriots, who came back and beat the Jets last night, 30-27. I watched this game, most of it. Cam Newton doesn't look right to me. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I don't know if he's having problems gripping the ball. I know he had shoulder issues before, but his passes are low. I don't know enough about throwing the football on, especially not on the NFL level. But I mean, to me, the way it looks to me is like, if you're playing baseball and you make contact on the top of the ball, it kind of has that downward trajectory, and it seems like most of his throws, I mean, he has zip on them. They're it's like the strength's there, but I don't know. He's like getting over the top of the ball or something, and
Yeah.
they're just not coming at the right angle. I keep seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's performing all that well. I don't think he's been terrible. But I think part of it might be the personnel that they have. The offense is very similar to what it was with Brady, except that Cam does a lot of the running instead of handing it off to running backs all the time. The Brady the last couple of years has been very check down, very short throw heavy. And it's kind of what Cam has turned into, it seems like. And I think this is different for him, and that may explain some of the issues. Because if you remember when he was in Carolina, he was more than happy to throw the ball down the field. They had different kind of weapons there, right? Probably better receiving core there. But he was more than happy to push the ball. And now he doesn't seem to be pushing the ball at all. And maybe it's the different style that, he knows he's throwing the ball short. So he kind of maybe subconsciously like aims the ball down a little bit so that it goes shorter,
Mm-hmm.
Because usually like on a longer pass, the nose of the ball is going to be up a little more. Shorter pass is going to be flat or
Yeah.
pointed down a little bit. Maybe he does that like just instinctively, like going, oh, I know I'm throwing this short. I don't want to overthrow this kind of thing. But I don't know. A lot of things don't look right in New England. Their defense looks pretty bad. And I know Belichick offered an explanation a few weeks ago that they weren't able to spend the way they normally could because of their salary cap issues this year, in the sense of getting depth and getting more players or better players on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
But it really seems like they've kind of fully committed to a transition year is what it seems like to obviously I think you have Cam, but I mean, they're paying Cam $1 million or something like that. So,
Yeah, it's a low amount. If you were Belichick, would you re-sign him at the market price? I don't think you're gonna get him for essentially the league minimum. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think
he
Cam
hasn't
can
missed
clearly
time yet
still
due to
play.
injury.
Right. I mean, he can clearly still play, right? It's this New England team really seemed to have shifted when he missed 2 weeks in a row with the COVID issue. And then the team was playing decent before that. He was out a couple weeks, and then it's been kind of crap since then. And I mean, if I'm Belichick, I look at it and I think, can we upgrade at quarterback? I think is the number one question, right? Because you got to, if you can't upgrade, why not at least look into re-signing him? And then what can you put around him? So I wouldn't rule out him re-signing there. I just doubt it will happen, to be honest.
I'm interested to see how it all plays out. Is Jameis on a 1-year contract as well?
I believe so. Jameis is on a 1 year in New Orleans for
feel
like
like
$7 million or something like that.
the whole quarterback carousel just got extended. I mean, Jameis is certainly capable and better than a lot of starters. Cam as well. So, I feel like we'll see. We'll have to see. But
Yeah.
I'm interested how it all plays out again. Speaking of quarterback play, we got the first. I guess it's not the first game, but the first game where he was actually asked to do something. Tua was able to lead the Miami Dolphins to a win over the Cardinals, who just beat the Seahawks. So, I mean, the Dolphins on the road in Arizona, maybe looking for real. I kept being told that Tua looked amazing. I watched this game. I didn't think he looked amazing. He made a few good plays, but then again, I am Team Burrow and team Justin Herbert. So this third guy maybe is not getting gonna get the
love from
praise
you.
from me naturally. But I'm curious, did you get to see Tua play at all, and what were your thoughts? I mean, I saw him airmail a few passes.
Yeah, I only got to see a little of this so far, but Tua looks decent. It looks like Miami's keeping everything pretty basic for him so far. But I mean, the thing that people don't, I think, fully acknowledge is how solid of a receiving core Miami has. Devontae Parker is someone that I know a lot of people came around on this year. Preston Williams looks like he's finally, 100% or close to it from his torn ACL from last year. And if we remember, Preston was the better receiver last year over Devontae Parker until he got hurt. They also have Gesicki as a tight end who's an extreme athlete. And then they have some decent receiving options at running back with, he didn't play yesterday, but they have Breida, they have Patrick Laird, who is serviceable in a game or two. Gaskin's been decent this year, although he didn't play yesterday.
Yeah.
And then they have touchdown machine Jordan Howard for when they get to the goal line. But yeah, I mean, I think Tua looked good. I wouldn't say he looked. I mean, he was clearly the second best quarterback in that game yesterday, or on Sunday, right? Like Kyler right now might be the most dynamic quarterback in the league.
It's the funnest to watch.
Yeah, I mean, him or Mahomes for me, it's kind of, they're different, right? Mahomes does it more with his arm, but Kyler he had 11 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown, right? He's leading the league. I'm pretty sure he's leading, quarterbacks with rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. He's throwing the ball. He was 280 yards, 3 passing touchdowns on Sunday too. But I think Tua's legit. I think he's third behind Burrow and Herbert right now, but it was only a second game. So
Tua versus Herbert this week. That'll be fun in Miami. Settle it on the field. Kyler is for sure the most exciting quarterback to watch for me at the moment. He's so quick, man. He's so quick scooting around. He just takes off. And I noticed there was a play where both safeties were kind of cheating down, and the play ended up just being a bomb to Christian Kirk, and it was because the safeties were cheating in to account for Kyler's speed.
Right.
and tendency to take off with the ball. So expect more of that. He does. I've noticed. This is a team grind to tape analysis. I noticed that when he's running, he tends to hold the ball out like a cornerback who's made an interception, and he was actually scrambling still within the pocket and had an early fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Anywho, so he'll have to work on ball security a little bit. He's still young.
Yeah.
I hope he keeps running. He doesn't take shots. He's quick. So, yeah, at the moment, he's exciting to watch. Hopefully, the Cardinals can do something in the playoffs, and the Dolphins. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how they do against the Chargers. I think the Dolphins at home are like 2-point favorites or something, which is basically the home field advantage there. But a team to watch. I don't want to cover too many of these other games just because, I mean, there were some weird results. The Texans beat the Jaguars, whatever. The Giants upset the Washington football team. Alex Smith got in, went for over 300 yards. So that was good to see. It looks like he's going to be starting next week. The Ravens-Colts game was kind of boring. The Ravens ended up winning 24-10. The Colts had the ball late, and they were down 2 scores. However, they looked absolutely like they didn't even want to try. They were rushing plays, and instead of trying to push the ball downfield and score and maybe get an onside kick. I know a long shot, but it's just kind of sad when teams don't even try. Vikings handled the Lions. Titans beat the Bears. And the Panthers-Chiefs game was pretty good. Chiefs, I think they turned the ball over a few times. The Panthers had some chances, but the Chiefs ended up winning that. The Bills-Seahawks, that was a boat race. The Seahawks went down early. I think it was 17-0 at one point. Russ put up a fight running for his life, but Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were too much for the Seahawks to handle. They won 44-34. I have noticed Russ has been, after his hot start, he's still putting up the numbers fantasy-wise, but he's been making some questionable decisions with the football. I mean, maybe it's just 2 games because of the Cardinals last week when they lost, and then now losing to the Bills, but it seems like it seems like maybe Russ is doing a little too much cooking. Yeah, the Steelers also survived a scare to win 24-19 against the Cowboys. I saw a stat that said Mike Tomlin is 1-8 or something against the spread when favored by 10 points or more. So it may be taken a little too easy in practice. I don't know what kind of stock to put into stats like that. But it does seem to be some sort of trend. And the Saints absolutely destroyed the Buccaneers 38-3. This game was just bizarre. I mean, the exact opposite happened with the Bucs and the Packers a few weeks ago in prime time. So I don't know. I do not get the Bucs. There's a few teams I just do not get. I do not get the Bucs. I do not get the Colts. I do not get the Falcons, but I mean, who does? The Chargers as well, but I mean, the Chargers are the Chargers. So, yeah. Anywho, that is week 9 in the books. Jeff stepped out, in case you didn't notice. If you're watching us on YouTube, you would have noticed. It's a good time to mention. You can follow us on YouTube, The Mixer. Link is in the show notes. Also, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Amazon Music. I don't know if anybody else is having this issue, but I use iTunes primarily, and they always change the way the app looks, and I hate it every single time they change it. When I first listened to podcasts, it was super simple. There was a list, you just clicked it, and it played. Now the lists are all segmented. You have to go to library, downloaded episodes, all this, all that, just to find the episodes you want to listen to. This is my old man yelling at the cloud moment, but like, why do they make it intentionally difficult to navigate the podcast app? Anyway, I'm thinking of making the switch over to Spotify, especially if they give us some of that sweet, sweet, sweet Joe Rogan funding. We will take it. We will take it, and we will, grow the pod. Anywho, so that is where to find us. Oh, and we're on all the social channels at FC Wine Mixer, iTunes, Twitter, Facebook. That's where to find us. I wanted to briefly touch on our fantasy football teams and maybe talk some fantasy football. One of us is in our home league is the lowest scoring team, and the other one has the honors of being the highest scoring team. If you remember, a few weeks ago, Jeff beat me. However, since then, my team has been rolling, and Jeff's has not. So I will, I'm not going to name any names, but if you want to take any guesses at who the team with the top scoring team in the league is and who is the bottom, you can speculate all you want. Jeff.
Hey, I don't like this slander, Rob.
I didn't name names, but what's on your mind as far as fantasy football goes as we are coming down the stretch, or
talking? What's on my mind is really that my team's finally healthy. I made a couple trades last week to get a quarterback and a running back. Jonathan Taylor just hasn't really done it for me. So I wanted someone to put next to Miles Sanders. So I traded with Jess and got Antonio Gibson. Traded with Jake and got Drew Brees since I had Garoppolo, who got hurt. I tried to throw Andy Dalton in there. He got hurt.
It's just one of those years. That's why we have the best ball leagues. Have you checked on your best ball teams at all? I haven't done that.
I haven't. And I'm not checking on it till like week 14.
I had a $50 ticket cash for DraftKings. Pretty good lineup. I had Drew Lock as my QB. I had James Robinson and Dalvin Cook as my running backs. Nice. Who did I have? I had Jerry Jeudy as one of my receivers. Who are my others? I can't think of the others, but they all had a pretty good day. I had Evan Ingram as my tight end. He got a touchdown. So it was just one of those weeks where it worked out. I finished 8th out of 1,000 entrants with a $5 entry. You would think that'd win more than $50, but apparently it doesn't. So, I got $50. If I would have got 3 points more, I would have had like 100. So that's a little tilting. Nice. I have finished second in this tournament before, or third. That was like a $200 win. So that was a few years ago. Anywho, so yeah, finally cashed. That was my first cashing lineup the whole year. I only play that tournament, but usually I cash maybe a quarter of the time. So maybe good days ahead. Nice. Yeah, I'm pushing. I'm having some bad luck as far as points against this year. The last few years, though, I've had good luck. So it's just, luck of the draw. Both my my teams in the leagues that are very important. I got highest scoring in one, second highest scoring in the other, and then like highest scoring against in both leagues, and I'm only one game above 500 in both leagues. But that's how it goes, It's a grind.
Yeah.
It's fun. Hopefully, we'll bring home a title for the brand for the show here.
I'm sure someone will get one.
so that we can legitimize ourselves. So, moving on, a little bit
Hold
of
on, real quick.
baseball. What's up?
I just want to say, since I predicted and called my shot that I would beat you, I am 3-1 in that league in the last 4 weeks. I beat you. Then I called my shot. I beat Anthony. Then I lost to the simulation, Sean.
Shenanigans.
On a day where that was a day where I had Galladay get hurt and
Shenanigans.
Garoppolo get hurt. Yeah, and then I called my shot this week against the number 1 team in our league in terms of record and beat him down.
Yeah, he has a lot of Cowboys on his team.
He does, and he has Zeke. I think Zeke and Pollard. I picked up Pollard. I was really hoping Zeke would be out for the game, so I could throw Pollard in there. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But yeah, I just wanted to update everyone that now I'm 4-5 after a 1-4 start. I'm 3-1 up to 4-5. Still have an outside shot at the playoffs.
We're pulling for you. We're pulling for you. So moving on. Baseball. Did you see that they did the Gold Glove announcements on election night?
I did. And baseball.
Why does baseball do this?
Baseball's historically terrible at interacting with fans. Anything outside of like a game or practice situation, right? Like they're awesome if you're at a game. Guys come down the side. You can usually yell at them, especially before a game. Get an autograph or two. Especially if you're at spring training, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best like sports to interact with guys in those settings, and yet they do this all the time, right? Like this year they chose election day, but they always do their award ceremonies after the playoffs are finished, right? We don't know who the MVP is until nobody cares about it anymore. And just all that stuff. It's kind of baseball's terrible. Baseball's best player, half the country probably doesn't even know who it is because they won't promote it.
I hear you. So, I mean, they announced the Gold Gloves during the presidential election. Like you said, they seem to always make these decisions. The only reason I can think of that they would do it, I mean, it's just so often that they do these awards during other major events that it seems like it's intentional. And the only thing I can think of is that they're trying to get Twitter impressions or social media engagement, and that they are purposely trying to piggyback off of other bigger events, knowing that it'll show up on people's feeds and they might share it, and then that way they can get those interactions and then sell it to advertisers saying we had 3 million interactions or whatever. But half of those interactions are saying, why is baseball doing this during the election?
Right. Exactly.
So I mean that's my assessment of the situation, which I guess is a good marketing strategy, but it's just hilarious. So baseball, keep doing it. Keep doing it. I'm here for the shit show, literally. I mean, my garage is a shit show. Baseball, marketing strategy might be a shit show. Just keep sending it my way. Speaking of which, the Gold Gloves, dude, I cannot think of a single award in sports I care less about than the Gold Gloves. They're such a joke, and some people get really upset. Like, people were upset that Machado didn't get a Gold Glove, and then other people were, those Doyers fans were upset that the center fielder, Cody Bellinger, didn't get a Gold Glove, and instead Grisham got it, which I kind of share the same questions, but who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. The Gold Glove is really kind of a pointless award, considering it's so I mean, considering Derek Jeter won like 10 of them, it's and this is coming from a Yankee fan. It's kind of pointless. I think it's in very close contention with NFL Pro Bowler as a meaningless award or title. And NFL Pro Bowler, to compare, used to be pretty meaningful. And then they expanded the rosters, and then guys opt out every year, and now there's like 150 of them every year.
Yeah, man. I think Ryan Matthews was an NFL Pro Bowler one season, so that tells you about the NFL Pro Bowl. Moving on. It's been a while since we checked in on Formula One. So there was a race 2 weeks ago in Imola, Italy, the return to Imola, which was, I love seeing these classic tracks on the calendar again, even if it's in this truncated COVID season. Hamilton won. He won me $20. Thank you. He was not on pole. I could have got better odds if I bet it after he was not on pole, but he did what he does, took care of business in the race, got the win. Daniel Ricciardo got another podium, third place for the brand. He did a shoey, loving it.
He got Hamilton to do a shoey too.
Yeah, and Hamilton was not stoked. But he's a step up his shoey game. I mean, what do you expect? You're drinking champagne out of a shoe. Just fucking go for it. Who cares if it's a little musty? It probably tastes better than my garage smells right now. So,
true.
By the way, my car's in there. Fuck. I need to.
Yeah.
Anyway, that might change that part of it. Anywho, so that is Formula One. This week they're going to Turkey. Jeff, this is one of my favorite tracks as far as a pure racing standpoint goes, mainly from playing it on a video game. It is, I don't know if it translates the same as far as spectating, but there's some really fast corners. Their longest straight, there's like this bend halfway through that you take flat and then you go and crest this ridge. The offline's a little bumpy, but they haven't raced here in like 10 years. So I'm really excited for this track. And I hope it produces a good race. It's one of the newer ones, so it's wider. We'll see. It's the best modern track, like post 2000. It's the best. The layout is just awesome. So I'm hoping for good racing. I don't know if I want to get into this Petrov story, but what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, at Imola, Mercedes clinched the Constructors' Championship, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, good job putting on your capital J journalist hat and reporting that. But
and Lewis, with a certain win or Valtteri finishing low enough, can clinch the Drivers' Championship this week, I believe.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty much still in contention to finish fourth if they, max out on points. Even George Russell at the bottom of the grid could get up to fourth if he wins everything out. I just wanted to remind people that was still going on.
Well, I saw a stat that Lewis Hamilton's total points are greater than any other team's points. Obviously, besides Mercedes, because he's on Mercedes, but like he himself, one driver, has scored more than Red Bull. He has scored more than Ferrari, obviously, more than Renault. Racing points, yeah. So pretty dominant. He's doing amazing things. Something not so amazing though. They released the provisional 2021 calendar, and it just injected sadness into my body. So they're adding a track to Saudi Arabia, to the country. No, they're adding a track in Saudi Arabia to the calendar. So there's going to be like a Saudi Arabian Grand Prix next season, which the FIA keeps doing this. They keep going to these countries where, just have shady associations. Azerbaijan, Singapore. I shouldn't maybe not be throwing around these accusations, but I don't know. It's just like a lot of these tracks they almost run it like the World Cup or like the Olympic committees, which are also severely corrupt, where they come in, they have these $500 million projects to build these tracks, and they sell it to these countries that it's going to be great, it's going to bring in tourism, they're going to build up the infrastructure around them, and it's going to revitalize these areas, and all these construction companies get these huge construction contracts. They come in, they do like 5 events, and then they take off, and then usually they're the cities just are trashed afterwards and not maintained. And so, I mean, it's just frustrating because you have tracks that we're seeing this season, like Turkey, Imola, Mugello, Portimao, Malaysia. Tracks that are great, that produce great racing, that look awesome. There's good turnout when it's not COVID. And instead, you're getting tracks like Korea, Abu Dhabi, which is, I mean, it does have turnout there, but it's the worst track in the world, probably. Russia, and then now Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Money controls everything, my dude. Sorry to be such a downer, but as you fall in love with these, if you continue to watch, sad to say, I thought with the new ownership group, there's a U.S. based controlling ownership group for Formula One. I thought it'd be different. It's not different.
Yeah. Sorry
But
about that.
they keep the classic tracks on there, like Spa, like Silverstone. So as long as they're sprinkled in, like Monaco, if they ever take Monaco, we riot.
Monaco's never going away.
Yeah, that's true. Where would Sean have his freaking Illuminati yacht parties if not at Monaco?
Exactly.
Just hook us up with an invite, Sean. Man, we put you on blast. It's just because we want in. The majority of it is just because we want in. We feel left out. We're on to you. We can be bought. Throw us a couple thousand downloads in here. Get us some advertising money. I just want to be able to pay for my beer. That's all I want out of this. And for people to say, to be in on the jokes, for my friends and family to be in on the jokes at least, and maybe get some swag. The list keeps growing. Well, Jeff, if you don't have anything else, I think that's it for this week, my dude.
I have one last thing.
What you got?
This comes from one of the guys I work with, former Navy Marine Corps veteran. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. We're in year 245 now. Veterans Day tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. And that's all I got.
God bless America, and God bless the troops, or whatever Biden says at the end of all his speeches. Yeah, that's it. Jeff, I know you're ready for some PF Chang sitting down there in last place in our league, but
I'm not in last place. Let's be honest. That's Matthew at the moment with 1 T.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of people need PF Changs in their life. So, just if you see somebody down, send some their way. I'm going to send some to the White House. You think they would take Postmates?
Not a chance.
Just send it to the White House. Send PF Changs. No veggies.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Special instructions. Absolutely no veggies. Just in all caps.
Maybe it'll work.
For the brand. All right. Until next week. Thank you, folks. I'm off.
See ya.
Later.